and support a living food system which honors the earth. Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
Do you really want to taste it?
And so ends the Gopher women's basketball season. They lost to Penn State. We used to have good college basketball in this state. We used to.
And it's too bad because we have so many good basketball players at the high school level. It really is a boom period for Minnesota basketball.
And we're getting our clocks clicked. What's the term?
They're getting blown up.
Yeah. We're not getting those players. Pockets picked. I will say this. I don't know what it is with these licensing agreements that these other schools are, but you're the University of frickin' Minnesota. You got Target, you got Best Buy, you've got 3M, you've got these other companies in this town. You know, if you embraced that, because I mean that's now becoming a deciding factor on where people are going to school is these licensing agreements. You might want to, you that might be the case. Now, that being said, I still think college should be about educating kids. I don't necessarily think the primary focus should be sports, but this is the world that we're living in. And so, yeah, it's not great to see us spend as much money as we are on the state, the University of Minnesota spending as much money on that basketball program. And this is the wow. Yeah. Wow. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. How about we give away some tickets right now? Let's do it. Bill Maher is coming to Mystic Lake Casino on May 21st. May 21st, Bill Maher at Mystic Lake Casino. I got a pair of tickets right now. Caller number 9. Let's do caller number 9. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Caller number 9. You get to go see Bill Maher as he comes into town. Good luck on that. And reminder, I got Stein coming up here at the bottom of the hour, and then Cliff Schechter the top of next hour as well. At a nearly 3-hour listening session Tuesday evening, the St. Paul School Board heard 63 speakers share their fears and frustration over school safety, along with the countless ideas to making things better. The special meeting was held at Washington Technical Magnet, where a staff member was shot in the ear after school in January, the same week that a Central High School student was shot in the head at a nearby rec center, and a teen was arrested with a gun at Harding High. But it wasn't until 15-year-old Devin Scott was fatally stabbed at Harding on February 10th, the school district began to soliciting input on how to improve school safety. Joyce Jones Strait, a teacher at Washington, said her school has the same issues that teachers, parents, and students complain of at Harding. Students bring weapons to school, use cell phones to arrange fights, and there's not enough support for students who aren't ready to learn. Harding teacher James Lowe said he'd spoken with seniors there who haven't given much thought to what they'll do after graduation because they're focused on just staying alive. Wow, that's wow. He called for more school social workers and counselors. The district has dramatically increased its ranks of mental health staff thanks to federal pandemic grants, but several teachers said they still aren't meeting the need. Como Park Senior High teacher Alana Sweeney said her school typically has 30 to 40 students unsupervised in the hallways during class time. How is that even possible? Seriously, how do you have roaming gangs of kids in your schools in between classes? That just shows you the complete and total lack of any appreciation of authority within the school district. And no, I don't want to hear. This is one of those things I'm going to disagree with these. Matt, you need to hear what they're saying on the inside. No, they need to be in class. Just for safety concerns. You can't have 30. Imagine you worked at the Target headquarters in downtown Minneapolis. Imagine there were 30 to 40 roving people just anytime going down the hallways, trying to start fights, running around, goofing off. You think anyone in the Target building is going to be getting a good day's work done? No, of course not. You're going to be wondering, where the heck is the group of kids? No, the fact that that's going on with such consistency that every school is reporting it just tells you the superintendent has failed at this point. They're combative, disruptive, she said. They know there will be no consequences for their behavior, which is clear. The lack of accountability is an equity issue. She said 99% of the students who come to the school to learn, engage, are being robbed of a free and safe education. The teachers made it clear it's not just high schools where the struggle is getting under control in classroom and hallways. Emma Stalker, a first-year teacher at Hidden River Middle School, said her experience this year with weapons, threats, and attacks on teachers and students has her rethinking how long she intends to teach. This is at a middle school. First-year teacher Haruka Yokioka said assaults on staff are common in pre-K4 global arts plus lower campus. Pre-K4? You're teaching them not to respect any kind of authority early on, aren't you? When I hear from my secondary colleagues in the district about the safety issues they see in their schools, the difference they see is my students are littler and have less access to weapons, she said. Wow. Among the speakers, well, I had that shooting, was it in Virginia? Not that long ago. By the way, do we have a winner?
We do have a winner, Barbara from Columbia Heights. So congratulations to her.
Barbara, Columbia Heights. Congratulations. We have another pair of tickets to give away coming up next hour. So listen for that right here on AM 950. When I hear from a second college, she was talking about these young kids, the only thing that's different is they don't have access to weapons. Among the speakers Tuesday were four current students who said violence is getting in the way of their learning. The Como Park freshman said drug use, vaping, fights, and weapons are commonplace. Wow. Gotta get my throat lozenge moved around correctly. Sorry about that. It got stuck to my tooth, and I'm like,
no.
God, this is okay. I just mad. Sorry, my throat lozenge. You know, my allergies kicked in. It's delightful. This is the best part about Minnesota. Snow on the ground, and I get allergies. Thank you. When you see a kid with, going back to what the students were saying, when you see a kid with a gun or a knife, it's not even surprising at this point. I don't want to normalize it. Wow. The students, like other speakers Tuesday, had mixed views on bringing police officers back into the schools after the school board removed school resource officers in 2020. Instead, some speakers called for stronger commitment to restorative practices, which have been unevenly implemented since the school district began a pilot project at the teachers union urging in 2016 in response to students' attack on school staff. Battle Creek Middle School teacher. Well, I mean, if you're attacking the staff, if you're committing assault, let's call it what it is. If you're committing assault, you should have a little bit more than we're going to have a quiet time for a few weeks and then we'll have you back in school. That's not how it works in the real world. And don't get me wrong. I don't think one mistake should be the end of things. But I don't think this is this doesn't seem like it's the kid who's, I'm an A student. I'm an A student. I'm an A student. I'm an A student. I'm going to push a teacher now. That's not what's going on. It sounds like the kids that are causing the problems are pretty consistent repeat offenders. And basically just, it's, the rest of the school is just sitting there and taking it. For Highland Park Senior High special education teacher Nate Giles, police officers are part of the solution. I've seen the relationships that police officers have made with students. Giles also called for the district to change its lax approach to student discipline. Couldn't agree more with that. It clearly seems that's a problem. There's a lot of pressure to not send students home, which creates a toxic environment. Other speakers called for metal detectors, recruiting parents, and emergency school volunteers, having high schoolers mentor younger students. All right. If the person commits something, a crime, and a thing that would result in harsher penalties in the real world, are you really doing them a service to basically allow them to not have any consequences from that? Because what it seems like what you're going to do is like, I brought a gun all the time to high school. What do you mean I'm going to be arrested for bringing it to my job? Aren't you just going to take me out to a pancake breakfast? Aren't we going to have a kumbaya drum circle? What do you mean I'm going to be arrested for violently threatening my coworkers? If you do not have consequences for any actions, these kids will take advantage of you. Not all of them, but some of them. And they are very good at finding the borders and the edges. And the problem is that your borders and edges seem to be a dead kid. That now, all of a sudden, we got someone who got stabbed, we're going to take it seriously. It should have never gotten this far, because let's just call this what it is. Whatever you're doing right now sucks. Sucks huge. It's really bad, and it's not getting any better. So good luck, St. Paul schools, because unless you guys start doing a little bit more common sense thought process here, I just don't see how this is going to get cleaned up. 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. Jeff Stein going to join us. Oh, have I got some things to talk to him about. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
This is the Being Curious Show. I'm Brian Mariani, founder of No Shift Own.
And I'm Kelly Wagner, publisher of Edge Magazine. Our show is about curiously connecting teachers and seekers on a wide range of topics in a safe space.
And our intention is that these conversations spark your own curiosity that creates a life that totally lights you up.
This Sunday, we talk to representatives from Twin Cities Pagan Pride and guests that are hosting Paganicon, happening March 17th through 19th in Plymouth, Minnesota. For more information, go to tcpaganpride.org.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies today with a high near 36, tonight cloudy with a low around 15, and Thursday partly sunny with a high near 31. Hazel's Northeast has some of the most creatively prepared comfort food you'll find for any meal of the day. Favorites include the Drunken Banana French Toast, Buttermilk Fried Chicken Sandwich, and Swedish Meatballs. Open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 8 to 8 with a Sunday brunch from 8 until 2. Located off 29th and Johnson. More at hazelsnetogo.com.
Jeff. Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff. J-E-F-F Jeff.
Jeff Stein's our national and presidential expert and noted author. Find his books over at Next Chapter Books, also totallyiowa.com. The Iowa Business Report, the Iowa Politics Report, come to us from KXEL in Cedar Falls, Waterloo. And Jeff, good to have you back this week, my friend. Missed you.
Well, it's good to be back. And you're looking fit as all get out. Your posture is so good these days.
You know, it's great. If you put a few metal rods into your spinal cord, guess what? It keeps you right. I'm a posture pal. It is funny. It is like I'm going to be it's going to take me a while to get through airport security now because I got more machine than man inside me now at this point.
I recall, and this is years ago, someone I knew had a knee replacement and they had to carry with them a wallet card size photo of an x-ray to show, no, I'm not going to set the plane off. I've actually got metal in my leg. And I don't know, you're going to have to bring the Mayo Clinic team to the airport to see TSA to get you through.
Well, it's always nice when I go to a TSA checkup because they put me in the body size Wand-O-Matic. And not only do they can see that, so they can tell where all the metal in my body is, but they also give me a nice update on if I have any prostate problems. So it's always nice. It's kind of thorough. It's a thorough exam I get there.
I see. The Wand-O-Matic, is that trademarked by the TSA?
I'm going to let them take the trademark because you don't mess with the TSA, man. I'm just going to let you know you do not mess with the TSA.
Well, you are a generous sort, so that's good.
You and I, okay, we're going to get to Fox News here in a second, but I got to you and I, about 6 months ago, I asked you the question, could someone from Florida actually win the presidency? And because it's not exactly our most desired state, it's got its meth gators and other issues. And DeSantis, I want to put aside, I'm going to put aside his culture war crap, his assault on Disney, his clearer tones that if corporate America does not agree with me, I'm going to punish you. That sort of thing. I'll put that aside. When he comes on out there and he says, I want to make America Florida, just that one line. I'm like, okay, you do you understand what a hurdle that is? Because it's like, oh God, no. Oh, sweet Jesus, no. He's got to try to figure out, and don't get me wrong, I guarantee you in some corners of conservative worlds that resonates, but that's not going to resonate. Make America Florida is not going to resonate in the suburbs and in many states. This is a problem for him if he's going to try to win this White House.
Okay, but what else does he have?
He's got those kick-ass boots.
Well, I was a SEAL and a member of Congress, and okay, that's all very nice. But truly, what? In a serious sense, that's what he has to run on. I became the chief executive of a state. I believe I have done things very well. I was reelected. And so therefore, my best claim to fame is as the chief executive of Florida. So if I say, let's make America Florida, that plays to my strength. If you think it's a good thing to make America Florida. See, that's the fundamental premise, right?
Yes.
He has nothing else to run on. And if you buy into it, great. The downside is that he has bought into the PR that making Florida what it is now was a good thing. And yes, there are some who think so, but I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's heard from all sort of sycophants that he is doing tremendous stuff, that he's the heir apparent to Trump, that he is Trump's policies without Trump, and he's apparently decided to believe it and go forward. And I have to tell you, he's now got the book out, and I'm sure you'll have him on the program to promote his new book.
Oh, yeah.
I heard him on a nationally syndicated program, a very favorably disposed interviewer, and I was not impressed. I have to tell you, here's 10 minutes where you're not ripping into Joe Biden, you're not ripping into woke culture, not ripping into Democrats generally. Tell us about the book, tell us about you, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, wow, it's not a great presentation. And that's sort of what you need out the gate to sell books and sell yourself for president. I have also been told that he has a number of great political skills, but retail politics, Matt, is not one of them. In other words, small talk, meeting with people, going to a pizza ranch in Iowa, not exactly his strong suit. He doesn't like it. He's not good at it. So the problem is he has such a high bar to meet because of his fawning, sycophantic publicity. I don't know how he could actually meet it. So he's got the two problems here. The actual ones you mentioned about, well, you're kind of putting all your eggs in the Florida basket.
Yeah.
But everybody's saying if only DeSantis would run. Well, I remember people saying if only Colin Powell would run, and how'd that turn out? Same thing.
Well, I mean, if you were looking for a moderate candidate, Nikki Haley's sitting out there, but no one wants Nikki Haley. They're looking for someone who's going to be the next Trump, and they feel it's going to be DeSantis. Can I ask you this? You're in conservative Iowa. Forget about who he'll be running against. Just you're in Iowa. I've lived in Iowa for many years.
Yes.
Make America Florida is not a line that's going to sell in Iowa. It just is not, because Iowans, like many people, don't want to be Floridians. They want to be Iowans. And so this idea, and especially when every story that comes out of the state is just nuts, I don't think that's not going to sell. Do you feel it would sell if he came up there to Iowa and said, I'm going to make Iowa Florida?
No, because the people in Iowa overwhelmingly elected people to make Iowa, whatever that manifestation is right now.
Yes.
And so if he comes up and says, oh, look what we've done in Florida, you're going to have a whole bunch of folks here in Iowa say, well, yeah, but we did this. Okay, so what? You're just another one of those free states. Okay, great. That's the phrase that's being used a lot now, the free state of this or that. It may sell in a state where it's much more of a jump ball. It may sell very well for him to go to big blue cities and rail against blue cities and their governments. Yeah, I don't think that New Hampshire or Iowa, either one, is necessarily as receptive to the message as Fox News might hope that it is.
Come be the magic and splendor of Tampa. Oh God, no. That's yeah.
Raise
That's
your hand if you've been to Tampa.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm right
there
with
you
you.
go. Yeah,
Okay,
there
yeah.
you go. Still have the glitter on me. Okay, so the one thing, which just really quick, we'll wrap up DeSantis here. Trump clearly is taking him seriously, and Trump's now going after him. Trump is still the favored candidate. The latest polling that came on out said that any advantage DeSantis was having is now gone, that Trump is now firmly in the lead. And as you said, his presentation, DeSantis's presentation is tough. Remember back in 2016 how Trump methodically took out every other Republican challenger. He's starting it again. DeSantis, I don't think, is going to last too long, frankly.
I'm surprised he's doing what he's doing this early. I think he would have been better advised to actually do the job he was just reelected to do. This is March 1st. He's not even 2 months into a second term. There's plenty of time, and there'd be plenty of time for in no order, Haley's, Scott's, Pence's, Pompeo's of the world, all these folks who are either going to do whispering campaigns or throw their hat in the ring. Fine, let them all just kind of gather and be the foil for Trump and then get in at a later point. But he's not doing that. And I just don't think that's going to serve him well, because to your point, have you heard Trump tear into Haley or Pompeo or Pence lately? No, not a bit of it, because he doesn't need to. He thinks he needs to with DeSantis, which suggests he does take him seriously. And it's true. I don't care what poll you look at. It's like a, quote, two-man race. But boy, the disloyalty thing with Trump, and you and I have talked about this on other occasions in other contexts. Trump favors loyalty above all else. He can't be pleased that people who used to work for him or that he appointed or that he helped are thinking of running against him. But he's letting it all go with the other one so far, and it's all DeSanctimonious all the time.
And I will say this one thing. Scott Jensen, who lost the governor's race to Walz last year in Minnesota, he was on the campaign trail in Minnesota way early. I mean, starting pretty much right after 2021 rolled in. I mean, he was out there starting to lay the foundation. So I get why you want to start early. You can build a foundation. But as you just said, what you've done is put yourself in the eyes of Trump and in the sights of Trump, and he's targeting you up at this point.
Well, one thing too, there is a conservative PAC, and I don't know that I can find their name for you right now, but they're running ads all across the state of Iowa. It's a pro-DeSantis PAC, and they are ripping into Nikki Haley and basically saying, Nikki Haley, well, she looks good, but her policies are terrible, and she quit on Donald Trump, but we need Ron DeSantis. And I'm thinking, a DeSantis PAC, and that's how they identify themselves. They're tearing into Nikki Haley because she looks good on TV, but I'm thinking, why? Why are you doing such? I don't even get it.
Well, might as well put it not attacking me. It's just kind of, I hate saying it because it's kind of brutal, but it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? I mean, it just is. It's going to be Trump, or it's, unless something happens, it probably will be DeSantis.
But how about just be pro DeSantis? Why? Okay, Nikki Haley's the only one to officially announce, we're going to show her a thing or two. I mean, it sounds, if you didn't know better, you'd think it was a Trump PAC. Yeah. That's the level of kind of immature attack that it's taking.
All right. Let's go to Fox News. All right. So the thing which I find to be amazing, and when I started looking at the news, there was, I think it was yesterday morning. Of course, there's a lot of salacious comments here about what they did know and did not know. And, the Dobbs and Bartiromo were basically really pushing the stop the steal stuff. And they were believing in it, but pretty much everyone else was off the record was saying it wasn't real, that this was fake. We're going down the wrong path, but on air, we're doing it. They're in big trouble in the Dominion lawsuit. But there came a moment where this story dramatically changed. And it was when Rupert Murdoch acknowledged that he had given inside information on Biden's ads, and debate strategy to Jared Kushner prior to events. And I said, whoa, okay, now this is something new. This is something different. Because as you and I talked about, okay, the Dominion lawsuit, that's a Dominion lawsuit. But now all of a sudden you're a news organization and you'll be the first. You've taught news. You don't do this sort of thing. You're not supposed to do this sort of thing. And the fact that they were so openly putting their hand on one side of the scale and now are out and getting caught on it, this is actual real trouble now, I think, for Fox News. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, do you remember how the folks on the right and Fox News just excoriated Donna Brazile when she was working with CNN for tipping candidates about debate questions? I mean, they just could not have more haughty disdain for such things. How is this different?
Well, it's worse. It's worse. The sharing of the ads. I mean, the debate stuff, the debate strategy stuff there is, so the Biden campaign goes to Fox News, here's our ads, and Murdoch apparently calls Jared Kushner saying, before an ad is aired, here's the ads, here's the narratives they're going with. We want to make sure you know first. Holy God.
Well, see, that's the thing. And that was the whole point. They thought what Brazile did or did not do, whatever, was just this worst offense against humanity. You're disclosing commercial information. It's the ownership of the company contacting the president's son-in-law. I mean, the Murdoch family Thanksgivings they got to be a sight to see anyway with the splits in that family. But it's I have no time for these talking heads who espouse one thing on the air and then say something the opposite. You're not doing pro wrestling. You're talking about the future of a democratic republic. And so for them to just act like it's just a big game, and then for Murdoch to have admitted doing these things, how do you trust any of these people? This is why journalism is taking such a beating lately. And we're not, talking heads, that's not journalism, but it's all lumped into the same thing of, quote, media. Mm-hmm. And why do people not have the time of day for it anymore? No surprise.
Does Biden have a lawsuit here? I mean, if you're a campaign and you're sharing details there, you're not basically having the news station. I mean, I just think about any of the radio stations you and I have worked on or anything like this. We'd never do anything like this because, the immediate fear would be, well, then the candidate could sue us, sort of thing.
The only thing, I could see Murdoch. Well, I can't see it, but I could see it. Murdoch calling the Trump side saying, Biden just made a $9 million ad buy with us. Hello, you guys might want to get here. But the details of it, you wouldn't do that. And I suppose somebody could. So, no, I don't think there's a lawsuit simply because the stuff winds up airing very quickly anyway. And, so what advantage was gained at it? They didn't deny them the ad time. They sold it to them at the normal rate, et cetera, et cetera. But it is just a cratering of any tissue of credibility. And from a business standpoint, you don't do that. I mean, did you ever call the Chevy dealer and say, psst, the Ford dealer just placed a bunch of ads here on the radio station? I don't think you do that.
No, I don't think you would. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break. When I come on back, I'm going to ask you the point about value, because clearly Fox News was giving tremendous value to the Trump campaign, which you're not supposed to have on one side or the other. You're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to offer equal things. These are the rules of radio, media broadcasting. Yeah. And so let's talk about that when we come back. Jeff Stein with his usual weekly visit, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Kelly Tanky.
And I'm Joe Kirk.
Tune in to AM 950's newest show, Searching for Service, a show designed to help current and future Rotarians find purpose through service.
We are dedicated to sharing stories, experiences, and opportunities for those searching for purpose, value, and meaning.
But more importantly, connection through community. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. or anytime via podcasts.
It's time to stop searching and start serving.
It's lights out at Rudy Luther Toyota. Are there some mysterious lights lighting up your dashboard? Then head over to Rudy Luther Toyota and have them check out your vehicle to make sure it's safe. And scheduling an appointment is really easy. Head to RudyLutherToyota.com. Click on the Lights Out section and then follow the simple instructions to schedule up your service that fits your schedule. Then bring in your vehicle and have them turn those lights off. It's Lights Out at Luther. To schedule up your Lights Out service appointment, head to RudyLutherToyota.com.
Hey, John, I heard you're turning 65 this year. Time to start comparing your Medicare insurance options.
Oh, I am so overwhelmed with all the different Medicare companies and plan designs. I don't even know where to begin.
Really? I worked with CompareYourMedicare.com and they made my Medicare decisions seem easy.
Huh, really? Well, what do they do?
CompareYourMedicare.com represents several of the top Medicare insurance companies in Minnesota. A local licensed agent will help you compare Medicare plans to determine which products best meet your needs and budget.
Wow, that sounds a lot easier than going to a bunch of different Medicare seminars on my own.
Way easier. Just go to CompareYourMedicare.com and request a free, no-obligation review. You can even schedule a virtual consultation from the comfort of your own home.
Hi, this is Jared with CompareYourMedicare.com. We pride ourselves in serving our community's Medicare needs. Whether you're planning to retire early or work past age 65, we can guide you through how and when to apply for Medicare. Go to CompareYourMedicare.com to schedule a consultation.
AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. Jeff Stein joining us, 952-946-6205. So, Jeff, on that question, value added to a campaign. Because once again, the rules are this, is that, we as a radio station, when political season is up, we have to offer the same ad rates for one side or the other. You have to add equal value. If I have an hour-long show with a candidate, I have to offer equal time to the other candidate. Funny, a lot of Republicans don't want to come on my show for some reason. That being said, but you have to offer the equal time, and that's kind of the rules on this. Here's where it gets really kind of interesting. Clearly, Fox News gave value to the Trump campaign by giving them the information about the Biden ads. They also gave them value by giving them, debates, the narratives and stuff like that they were going to go with. It really does sound that they got some value. Is that where they get into trouble? Because once again, there are very strict rules that you cannot offer one thing to one side and not the other.
There's a merging of a couple of things here. When we're talking about over-the-air radio and television, that's when you have to follow all of the equal time rules, et cetera, because they're government-regulated licenses. When you start talking about cable satellite channels, well, those don't travel with a government license. Okay, so AM 950 has a government license. You got to follow a bunch of rules. But where they do get tripped up, to your point about value, is any Federal Elections Commission, any FEC rule, if you give in-kind value and it's not documented and reported as a donation, that's where you have a whole heap of trouble. Mm-hmm. And so if the Matt McNeil Creative Agency came up with a bunch of ads and donated its time to the campaign, whatever campaign, but you didn't disclose that it was a donation, that's a contribution. That's an in-kind political contribution. And so that's where you could really have some issues, not so much with the broadcasting rules, which are serious for licensed entities, but did Rupert make a campaign donation of in-kind information or services? And if so, what's the value of that? And had he already made contributions, never mind that they weren't disclosed, but now has he gone over the limit? I mean, that's where you can get tripped up. It's sort of like they got Capone for tax evasion too. It's not the sexy thing, but it's the thing that'll trip you up.
And thanks, and right on the call there, I forget that those don't apply to the cable networks there. It sounds like Murdoch, I think, to protect Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, and the rest. It sounds like Bartiromo is the one that they're kind of, he himself kind of pointed towards her, who has been one of the biggest, megaphones for the 2020 was stolen narrative. Is there a way? I mean, obviously Fox News is going to be in trouble. They're big trouble because of this Dominion lawsuit. But is there a way that they can filter this down to just one of the people there, or is the network still going to be even if there is one person who clearly seems that is the point person of trouble, is the whole network still in trouble?
Well, look, they got rid of Lou Dobbs right after Biden became president within 2 months, and got him out the door, even though he had a contract. They like Bartiromo. and she's focused more on the business things of late as opposed to election conspiracies. I don't think you can winnow it down to one person, because you've got all of these memos and texts and things flying back and forth where multiple people, high-profile people whose names you would know, are saying, I don't believe this stuff, or saying, what's the matter? I love this one. One of their White House reporters, think White House, is Jackie Heinrich. Don't know anything about her, but I've seen her on the TV box. And so she was reporting accurately about some of these things. And you've got the Fox hosts calling for her to be fired, calling internally for her to be fired, because doesn't she know what our audience wants to hear?
Exactly. That was pretty damning. And as well, there's the argument they're putting forward. Well, that wasn't our news shows; those were our opinion shows. But there comes a part, is if you're Fox News, that's what your shows. Those are your highest rated shows, and you weren't putting anything on the air to contradict this.
It's the company. It's the brand. Yeah. Okay. So yes, there is a difference. There's supposed to be a firewall between the news and the opinion, but the audience sees it as being blurred. You get people like Hannity who says, I'm not a journalist, but we do journalism on my show. What? Okay. I'm not a beer master, but I'll serve you a 16-ounce pint. I don't understand this. And so when they blur the lines like that, then are you going to have to be hospitalized? You're laughing, you're turning red. Do you need to adjust the brace?
Sean Hannity. It's like, I don't make meatballs, but I'm a huge meatball on my show. That's kind of where we're at. We got to end it there. They're nicely done, Jeff. I'll put out the Iowa Politics Report a little bit later on. Jeff, we'll talk to you next week. Yes, Hour number 2, that's coming up next.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call, because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at ShambotFamilyDentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
The Tom Hartman Show. Now that's Smart Radio, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. In closing statements in Alec Murdaugh's double murder trial in South Carolina, prosecutors say Murdaugh stole millions of dollars and it was about to be revealed. So he killed his wife and son to buy time to figure a way out of it. Creighton Waters is the lead prosecutor.
He lies convincingly and easily, and he can do it at the drop of the hat. You've heard testimony about that. He's been doing it to all the people who trust him for years. And he did it to y'all.
The defense says the investigation was poor, missing evidence such as fingerprints and shoe prints that could have led to the real killers. Public access to most buildings at Michigan State University will be restricted at night. It's in response to the February shootings that killed 3 students on the campus. Eli Lilly will cut prices for some older insulins later this year and immediately give more patients access to a cap on the cost they pay to fill prescriptions. President Biden visited the Department of Homeland Security today to mark 20 years since the agency's founding.
The threats are mounting. They're not diminishing. But we have you. And I know the stakes and the stress of the job take an incredible toll. Yet every single one of you answered the call every day.
The agency was founded after the 9/11 attacks. A firefighter died inside a burning building in downtown Buffalo, New York. A fire and an explosion sent flames and smoke billowing into the street.
It was a Mayday call. There was a structural collapse, interior collapse. So our firefighters had to evacuate. And unfortunately, one of our firefighters was trapped.
Fire Commissioner William Ronaldo says the cause of the fire in Buffalo is under investigation. Twitter unveiled a new policy prohibiting violent speech on its platform, very similar to guidelines against violent threats Twitter had before Elon Musk took over. The Dow finished up 5 points. This is AP News.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our healthcare. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining MediShare right now. MediShare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. MediShare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 27 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second. And if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
SeniorCommunities.guide is your free online website to find housing, care, and resources for seniors in Minnesota. Use the powerful, award-winning search tool to quickly improve your search. You will have all the information you need to contact providers directly without any hassle. Start your search now at SeniorCommunities.guide and follow us on Facebook for interesting articles, helpful advice, and how older adults are changing the world.
SeniorCommunities.guide.
This is Ross Stadheim, partner at MJSP Employment Justice. When you've been wronged at work or something just doesn't feel right, it's hard to know what to do next. Our firm can help. We pride ourselves on communication and listening to our brave clients to obtain their own brand of justice. When you hire MJSP Employment Justice, you're not just a number. You're a valued client who will be represented by one of our experienced and accomplished partners every step of the way. That's our promise.
Be heard. You deserve better. Contact us today at mjsbjustice.com.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies today with a high near 36, tonight cloudy with a low around 15, and Thursday partly sunny with a high near 31. Hazel's Northeast has some of the most creatively prepared comfort food you'll find for any meal of the day. Favorites include the Drunken Banana French Toast, Buttermilk Fried Chicken Sandwich, and Swedish Meatballs. Open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 8 to 8 with a Sunday brunch from 8 until 2. Located off 29th and Johnson. More at hazelsnetogo.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show on your Wednesday, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Reminder, a little bit later on this hour, we got some tickets to give away to go see Bill Maher over at Mystic Lake, May 21st. Make sure you listen for the chance to call in for that. But because the Fox News story was kind of so obnoxious, I actually wanted not only Jeff Stein, our regular Wednesday feature on politics, to chime in on it. I also wanted Cliff Schechter, a best-selling author, writer, was an ad writer for Joe Biden's presidential campaign in 2020. In 2022, his Blue Amp Action email list raised over $850,000 for Democratic candidates and progressive organizations. He hosts the Blue Amp YouTube channel, where it's fantastic. Humorous cutting takedowns that have gone viral. You can find some of those retweeted on my social media pages, and you can subscribe at YouTube. I'll put the link out for that a little bit later on. Cliff Schechter is kind enough to join us today to weigh in on this as well. Hey, Cliff.
Hey, buddy. I can only think of two things after hearing you the last minute. One is, what was that, like Drunken Banana French Toast? Because that sounds really good.
Yeah, it actually does, yes.
I need to come up there and go to that place.
You get up here. You get up here. I'll take you around, man.
Deal. Second thing is, I heard you say, like, Fox News is so obnoxious, we couldn't just have our regular guy on. I'm thinking, we need to have somebody just as obnoxious as they are. So we have Cliff Schechter for you.
Well, not as obnoxious. No, well, did I say it loud? Brett, I thought I was asking for professional, insightful commentary. That's what I'm looking for.
I am not offended at all. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak up here, Brad. Go ahead.
Well, no. Let's go through this dumpster
If you want
fire.
professional commentary, you called the wrong guy. You need somebody else. I'm going to give you drunken banana obnoxiousness. Let's not give it.
It's always been a dumpster fire here. Let's bring Cliff on in. All right. So actually, no. Okay. So this is because there was a moment, and I brought this up with Jeff Stein, who's our usual Wednesday guy who comes in. You were in here last Wednesday. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on today. So I'm watching all this stuff and I'm just relishing in the deliciousness of all these text messages that Dominion is releasing that basically show Fox News knew exactly what they were doing. And Fox News is going to lose billions of dollars to Dominion. Dominion's going to own a good chunk of Fox News at the end of all of this. But that being said,
hope a serious chunk.
But then all of a sudden came the story, Rupert Murdoch sharing Biden's ads pre-air with Jared Kushner and the Trump campaign, as well as debate strategy. And, in the media business, first of all, and granted, I'm a terrestrial radio station here. You can't do that. The FCC rules, you can't do stuff like that. But you are definitely offering a massive contribution to the Kushner and to the Trump campaign that you're not offering the other people. That's where I said, okay, this has changed. This story is now changing to where it's not just you guys were putting forward falsehoods, that you were very openly, as you tried to scream fair and balanced, very much trying to make sure one side got elected here. And that, I think, could end up being some legal problems there as well. Your thoughts on when that story?
God, I hope so. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. God, I hope there are legal problems because of that. But I can only speak from my experience. And it's enough that, being involved with these various organizations, I was never a paid analyst at Fox, but for a number of years I went on to debate and saw things behind the scenes I shared with people. I mean, the hosts weren't even trying to pretend, and I wrote an op-ed for the New York Times on the year that I spent as a paid analyst at the Sinclair Broadcast Network, which is basically the same thing as Fox. It's just the local station, on all the things, all the ways that they set things up behind the scenes, all the lies they told, all the times they were honest about that they were on the team, and the reporter they wouldn't let report the bad news he saw in Iraq, only the quote-unquote good news, because Bush was in office. Excuse me. And I mean, I guess the biggest fallacy, the biggest problem here is that we even need this kind of proof. I mean, the right will take anything. The right, they grab people who are either nonpartisan, like, ambassador to Ukraine, or people who are like Republicans, like Jeff Flake, or anybody that even slightly disagrees with them. Hell, Liz Cheney. And they turn them into, they're liberals and they're biased and they're Democrats, and scream it again and again and again. Meanwhile, they do the most obvious things in the world on the most obvious playbook. Roger Ailes said it when he first set up, I think it was called Right Wing News or something stupid like that, his predecessor to Fox News, that they needed a way, because of what had happened during Watergate with Nixon, i.e. the news actually told the truth, they needed a way to be able to hijack the truth, so they could stop something like that from happening in the future. And it was always his mission, and he was a TV producer, but he built a TV station that was based on a political campaign. And you can hear it in the way that Hannity and Tucker Carlson and all of them text each other, like, our base will be happy. Our base. That's how a candidate refers to, like, the people they're running to win, who are going to turn out for them, who like them, right? They don't view this as news. They view it as a campaign. Mm-hmm. It is a campaign to build ratings and help Republicans win. And that is all that it's about. And so I hope there's legal, but I mean, my God, I mean, the cheating that these people have engaged in, if we ever know the full truth, we still don't know, with Jimmy Carter entering hospice, we still don't know what's true and what's not about William Casey, Reagan's campaign manager. You may remember, had the CIA foreign policy connections, whether there was a deal for them to hold the hostages until Carter was out of office. France said
it happened. Israel said it happened. Russia said it happened. The Iranian president said it happened. There are more than a few people that said those meetings happened. And the PLO, remember the PLO told Carter 10 years afterwards that Reagan's campaign had contacted him beforehand saying, we'll give you arms for the PLO if you can get us in touch with the Iranians. And
that's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you see what happens 6, 7, 8 years later with Iran-Contra, I wonder where they put the connections together.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's like it makes you sound conspiratorial, but it all feeds into each other. You may remember now, of course, no longer a member of the right, because he realized he took things too far. But back in those days, George Will who was helping Ronald Reagan prepare for his debate. You brought up like debate points and stealing those. Well, guess what? Like he came across Jimmy Carter's debate book and he shared it with Reagan, and they used it to practice and didn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this is what we've been up against. We're up against people who will lie, cheat, steal. They push their grandma from the train to win an election. The only thing that's changed over the last 40 years is it's gotten worse and worse, more and more base instinct, less and less hidden behind a smile or a nicety like Reagan was able to do, into the snarling sort of, mouth of Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, and Kevin McCarthy and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They have become their base self. They've been headed in that direction forever. But, because those things add up. Mm-hmm. And when you're willing to play racism and voter suppression and use the kinds of words that, what was his name, Lee Atwater used, the N-word constantly, about, when you're willing to do that kind of stuff to win, you can't just sort of brush it aside later. You know what I mean? Then Willie Horton comes, and then when you're willing to cheat and steal a debate book, you'll be willing to do it in the future. When you're willing to make deals with foreign enemies, and there always were, by the way, those same rumors out there about Nixon having talks with the Vietnamese. And I'm just saying, it proves itself true. Every time we hear these things, they end up being true. So we're right back where we started. Fox News is a political operation. It always was a political operation. The fact that they've allowed it to be news, it should have been kicked out of the White House briefing room long ago. It should get no scoops, no information shared with it, whatever scraps they can find on the floor. I'm so proud of Joe Biden, who refused to do the Super Bowl interview this year with Fox, who refused to do it. Good, but much more needs to happen. They need to be treated like the pariah they are, because the right has learned if they repeat something enough, you'll believe it whether it's true or not. Well, here's something that's true that we could repeat. Fox is not news. It's entertainment, and it's entertainment to elect Republicans. Repeat it enough every time somebody brings up Fox. Refuse to treat them like a news organization. When they call when they call on you at a press briefing, so you're not really press and move to somebody else, treat them that way, because that's who they are.
I used to do some Sunday stuff on Fox and Vitter. Remember Vitter? The guy that used to do the Sunday afternoons.
Mr. Brothel himself?
Well, yeah. When I was on the air with him, he was an unapologetic right-wing douche nozzle. I mean, just was an absolute jackass. But then you find out these text messages behind the scenes, he was like, this is not real, and they got rid of him, actually. And I'm not exactly saying it was a loss, but I mean, it was really the Jekyll and Hyde thing for me came very, very visible at that point. This was a guy that was on the air, was just really carrying as much of the water as he could. But he behind the scenes was like, we shouldn't be doing this. These are lies. It really is
amazing.
Yeah.
Like you see some of these people that are those, publicly, these morally compromised people. It's kind of like Liz Cheney. And there even gets to be a point for them where they're like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? When she cursed out Jim Jordan or whatever, after the Capitol was attacked. I mean, what are we doing when the Capitol, when you're lying to your people so systematically, you're brainwashing them to a point where they'll show up to the Capitol of the United States and they'll attack the Capitol and kill people. And, this is where we've gone. So that the Vitters and the Liz Cheney's, people that, George Will, I mentioned earlier, people that were plenty enough hardliners during the Bush administration, it's even gotten to the point where they've had to jump off because it's gotten so insane. But the ones that are still there, they're creepy, they're corrupt, they're incompetent. They're just the most disgusting, cruel band of people who are willing to do anything, because you saw in those texts and everything that even Rupert Murdoch, that slimy scumbag, who, by the way, isn't American, and why we even kicked him the hell out of the country for what he's done, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, who sat there, and said, oh, well, this is bad. Maybe we should change. Maybe we shouldn't do this. This is bad for democracy. Oh, but wait, we may lose people to Newsmax. They put the goddamn profits first. That is the moral of the story here. Tucker Carlson, who comes from the damn Swanson frozen food fortune, he doesn't need a cent. He's a power-hungry fascist meatball, is what he is, and that's all he cares about. He just cares about people cooing at him when he's on TV. They're despicable, disgusting people, and they are what we need to call them. They are traitors for profit and for ratings. They are willing to destroy the United States of America. They're traitors. They are treasonous. They're seditionists, Call them whatever you want. They hate this country, or at least don't love it as much as they love money in their pockets and high rates.
You wonder why I have Cliff Schecter on that last little rant right there. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. You and I are both. I'm fuming about this. I'm fuming about this because of the dishonesty to the network. But going back to the handing of stuff over to the other campaign, Republicans are trying to say, "Oh, Donna Brazile was it that was asking CNN for talking points." That's one thing. Someone asking someone to, can you give us an insight on this? That's not what happened here. Joe Biden's campaign would call Fox News saying, we're going to run this many ads, this many days. Here's how much it's going to cost. Here we'll have the ads to you. And the second the ads got there and the narrative got there, Murdoch, before they even aired, was running over to Jared Kushner saying, here are his ads. Here's the narrative. Produce an ad as quick as you can, and we'll get them in the same break. So basically you can counterpunch them. And that's very different, let alone as well saying, oh, when we have our debate here, here's what we know is going to happen. So here's the questions. Make sure Donald's ready for this.
I mean, it's really ridiculous.
I've got to believe
Fox should not. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I got to believe there's a legal thing there.
Well, I have to believe there's a legal thing too, and I hope there is. And let's pursue that, because you're right. Dominion's going to own their lunch. Everyone should do this. But if you're a Democrat and you agree to debate on Fox at this point, you're an idiot. If you're a Democrat and you agree to accept Fox as, whether it's a town hall, whatever, as any kind of informal arbiter of truth, you're a moron, because you know what's going on here. They've given away. But even before this, again, this network has behaved as this outlier, radical fascist organization. They helped organize the Brooks Brothers riots in 2000. They helped organize the Tea Party gatherings in 2010. They've just again and again, Jeb Bush or George Bush's cousin was the one who made the call for George W. Bush at Fox in 2000, and then the other networks followed. I mean, if someone did an honest history and got in there into the Fox vault and could get all the truth of all of the stuff that they've done, it would blow away any spy novel you could ever write.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now they're repeating Russian talking points constantly. I mean, I'm sure because we that would be crazy. Well, everything you thought would be crazy 20 years ago is true. I'm sure there's Fox people in touch with Russian people. I'm sure they're coordinating their talking points so it has that much more power and that much more punch when they're doing things, because the Fox and Republicans have essentially become an arm of Putin's party. Like anything you can think they're doing right now to enrich themselves, to be corrupt, to destroy our democracy, they're doing it, and they're doing worse. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to piggyback on what you're saying, you said it perfect. Don't go on there, because there's no way you can guarantee Fox News isn't basically setting you up to basically attack you with either talking points or with questions set from their opponent directly. And then this is the big thing, and you kind of alluded to this, the closet with all the secrets in it. Does anyone think this is the first time Rupert Murdoch's done this? I would guarantee
you. Done it every time since how long they existed? Since I think they first went on air in 1996.
Exactly.
You can guess they've done it every time, and much worse than that. And I would just say, I've been saying this for a long time. If Democratic pundits, right, quote unquote, people like me, people like you, whoever want to go on Fox, I used to go on because I found it was good training. It was fun. Because I found that this group of schmucks who thought they were smart, or the biggest dunderheads in the world, would gang up on me 2-on-1, and they would change the topic at the last minute. And I thought it was a good challenge, so that I could beat the crap out of these two idiots, slobbering on themselves, who thought they were smart. That's me, because I like pain, and not everybody's like that. If you like debating with jerks, go do it. If you want to go, so I'm not saying every Democratic pundit, but not one Democratic elected official should grace that place. And this isn't based on these recent fundings. I've been saying this for the last at least half decade, if not more. Our president, our chief of staff, our senators, our congressmen, our governors, you go on that station, what you're doing is you're giving it legitimacy. It deserves zero legitimacy. It should be referred to as Fox Entertainment all the time, and it should be referred to as the Fox Republican Party, or the variations on those themes. They should not answer their questions that they ask you. You should not go on their station. Again, if people like me and you want to go on there and ruffle feathers and argue with them and make them look stupid in front of themselves, fine. But I don't have a title. I'm not great, but my going on there, I'm just some like schlap. Oh, that's like Matt Schlapp. So I'm not that, because I don't do things like that. But I'm just some goofball, living here in Cincinnati doing my thing. I can go on Fox News. An elected official, absolutely, from the Democratic Party, should not even consider it.
I'm going to ask you about the same thing as well. I talked to Jeff about it, and just this idea. Does Ron DeSantis really think "Make America Florida" is actually a winning slogan? Because if the first thing out of your mouth is a giggle, "Make America Florida," I mean, I think when the first thing out of your mouth is like, I don't think this is going to be your winning candidacy slogan here.
Well, all I know is that the movie Cocaine Bear, is coming out. But when I think of Florida, what comes to mind is an alligator on meth.
Yes.
Honestly, I imagine an alligator in a strip mall parking lot, because that's all they've got there, because public transportation isn't something anyone believes in these dollar store strip, parking lots, the ugliest scenery in the history of the world, in massive humidity, and there's an alligator who basically is messed up and attacking you. All right, that's the way everybody pictures Florida. So, no, that's not a good phrase. I don't think it'll work. Florida has become a punchline. There's entries in wikis and whatever for Florida man. I don't see how they think that's going to go forward. I think most people think that the COVID protocols that were ignored there were insane. I think most people realize that Miami, a American city, is at a point now when it's high tide sometimes where the water runs up 2 or 3 blocks and probably won't be there in 30 years because the state most affected by climate change has decided to ignore it. I mean, they've got one of the worst gun problems in the country. It was the first place where they passed Stand Your Ground. Who the hell wants America to be like Florida? No. Frankly, I don't know anybody that does, but Ron DeSantis has bigger problems. I mean, I could write the ads to mock that guy showing up to floods in his little white booties and his little chipmunk face when he tries to look all Top Gun with a helmet squishing his big noggin. Like if they don't do caucus and a tank him, they're failing. I don't think DeSantis. I think he's an early bubble the way Jeb was in 2016 and Hillary was in 2008 and all these people. Remember when Joe Lieberman couldn't lose in 2004?
Yeah.
And he was ahead in the Democratic race. Yeah, DeSantis is where he is now. Plenty of other people are going to emerge. I don't think any of them have yet. They're not accepting an Indian woman. I'm sorry, Nikki. You can self-loathe all you want. They still hate you because of who you are. Mm-hmm. And you took down the Confederate flag. You're done. Mm-hmm. Tim Scott, don't make me laugh. Somebody will come along who's palatable, who's conservative, but not completely tied into, and at least doesn't, says things at least with a little more of a chuckle than DeSantis and Trump, than DeSantis does, so that they're a little more likable. I don't know who it's going to be.
Yep.
I always thought John Thune was somebody who scared me because he's got that whole Midwestern, good old guy kind of image, even though he's a fascist in the policies he passes. To me, someone like that's going to emerge. I don't think we've seen the Republican nominee.
Well, and to back up what you were saying there, it's if you get down to the base where the Republican Party picks their candidates, unless it's a white man, it's not. No one else has a chance, and that's just. I saw it up here. The best candidate they had in Minnesota for the governor's race was Michelle Benson. She had never had a chance. She never had a chance because it has to be white guy. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of the narrative that the people that choose the Republican candidates want to go with, and that's the issues that they do have.
Yep.
That being said, final thing here. Twins Phillies today 4-4. God, I can't. The one thing I can't stand about spring training baseball is ties, but apparently the Pirates and the Orioles were so upset they wanted to finish this game. They played the rest of their game Sandlot style without any umpires so they could get the extra innings done.
Oh my gosh. I love that though. I love that they wanted to play these guys, like spring training, nobody ever takes seriously. I love the Yankees kids who basically I want to pull them all up. Dominguez and Volpe and all these guys are getting a chance. Volpe stole from first base to third base. Ricky Henderson style. Everybody talks about his amazing speed. I want that stuff. I want the energy. I like the bigger bases. I like the no shifting. I'm looking forward to baseball again, where people hit and run and steal bases, and oh my God, that person only got a single and not a home run or a strikeout. Like I'm looking forward to all of it.
I am
so
too.
That's going to be cool. I want to say one thing before I leave though. You should probably look around, maybe check Twitter quickly or whatever, but a big political presence is moving to your fair town. I just read, it's a shame because he has to take care of his mother, but Jim Manley, if you know who Jim is, who was Harry Reid's chief of staff for years and a big Washington presence, just announced on Twitter he's moving back to Minneapolis, where I guess he grew up. So you may have an additional radio, a person to put on radio soon.
Well, I'll have him in that. Apparently, Apparently Skrillex has been doing some stuff in town too. So I mean, I got choices. I've got choices.
See? You got stuff going on.
Cliff Schechter, once again, the YouTube channel is sensational. If you're not following it, you're wrong. Go get subscribed over there. It's already got thousands of subscribers. It's going tens of thousands.
Just about to pass 12,000.
There you go. There you go. So follow him there. I'll put the links out for everything a little bit later on. It's Blue Amp YouTube channel. Blue Amp YouTube channel. Cliff, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Always my pleasure, buddy. Take care.
Take care. Cliff Schechter, outstanding show today so far. Let's take a break. Come on back. The Matt McNeil Show on AM 950.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Bill Maher and his great humor is coming to Mystic Lake on May 21st, and AM 950 is giving away free tickets to go see him. Tune into my show, The Matt McNeil Show, this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets. Don't miss out on this chance to see one of the most famous Democratic comedians of our time live. Again, from now until Thursday, listen to The Matt McNeil Show for your chance to win tickets to see Bill Maher May 21st at Mystic Lake. Free laughs are courtesy of AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Laura, and I want to tell you about my family's favorite thing. It's our wood stove. We bought it about 14 years ago from Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. And see, the wood stove has actually paid for itself because we can keep the main area that we live in toasty warm with this great moist heat. But more important than saving money, it has actually improved our lives. Having a fire simplifies life. It provides comfort. It sort of takes the chill out of winter.
I'm Peter Solak. In 1977, I started Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, and I experienced the simple joy of warming myself by a fire. I also realized that the place and the way we embrace fire has evolved in a diversity of forms and styles. So at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we have brought together the widest selection of our fireplace products and technical knowledge in the Twin Cities. Our mission is to use our knowledge to help you choose the design and function that is right for you and your home.
Visit Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces today and find the right fire for you.
Hi, this is Paul Metza inviting you to listen to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. We have been on the air on AM 950 for over 5 years, over 200 original shows in the can, including musicians, artists, promoters, authors, comedians, and more. We're on the air Saturdays at 6 p.m. If you'd like to advertise, get a hold of us at am950radio.com. And stay tuned this weekend, Wall of Power Radio Hour.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show. No, this is, and the sad part is that the right will never even hear about this. This is such a massive scandal that the lies that they put forward and all this stuff is such a massive scandal. But the people that need to hear it will never hear it because all they do is watch Fox News, and Fox News has vowed to not cover this. That's why I hope one of the things that Dominion gets in their lawsuit is for like a month, an hourly apology that they have to air saying we knowingly lied about the Dominion voting machines, that we knew that many people within the Fox News organization knew that Joe Biden won fair and square, and that we regret that we pushed the lie that Trump had won. And I think that I mean, if they have to do that every show, and not just some fill-in host that, you know, Hannity has to do it and Tucker has to do it and Laura Ingraham has to do it, every one of them, then maybe you'll get some acknowledgement that this has happened. But the reality is we've got a system here where the entire narrative of Fox News is to make sure that no Republican ever looks bad and no Democrat ever looks good. And that is just who they are. It's created people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, like I said, because of gerrymandering and because they've got a district where a turnip with an R next to its name could win that district, that's why she keeps going back. It's hilarious that she doesn't seem to understand what the term seized means. that she keeps talking about fentanyl that's seized at the border, keep talking about it's out of control. And it's like, okay, do you not understand seized means it's captured? Well, her latest stunt was to bring in this woman who's tragically, very sadly, the mother testified about two young men from Michigan who had died because of fentanyl abuse, and a very sad thing. And that's something it's going on out there. And okay, there's no problem. And she brought them in to specifically attack Joe Biden. The overdoses apparently happened in 2020 while Trump was still president, though. And so, as tragic as the loss is, to use this as a way to attack Joe Biden is to say misguided is not the right word. It's just stupid because he had nothing to do with it. Now, this is the moment I want to take. Do you remember, was it yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about whatever happened to decency in America? I was in a restaurant and a woman and her son attacked me. Whatever happened to decency? Remember that? I remember that. It was yesterday. That's why I remember it. It was just yesterday that Marjorie Taylor Greene was openly opining about whatever happened to decency in America. A spokesman for Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene offered a profane response when asked to comment on a misleading claim the Congresswoman made online. This is Daniel Dale, the CNN fact checker. I asked Greene's office last night about her tweet blaming the Biden administration for the deaths in 2020 under Trump. Spokesman Nick Dyer responded by saying, lots of people have died from drugs under Biden's. Do you think they give a blank about your blank checking? Dale followed up with additional chances to clear up the false claims Greene had made and was met with similar, more succinct response. I also gave Greene congressional spokesman Nick Dyer an opportunity to comment regarding Greene's multiple false claims yesterday about the 2020 election, which is lies that Trump won Georgia and that there were thousands of dead voters there. Dale said his response was to blank off. So once again, the same woman who yesterday talked about where did decency America go? Her spokesperson talking to the Daniel Dale, who's one of the smarter fact checkers you're going to find over at CNN, just unloading a tirade out there because he's basically asking him to clarify the outrageous and undeniable lies that Marjorie Taylor Greene has said. And I guarantee you, the same people that follow Marjorie Taylor Greene, who yesterday were like, I can't believe those Democrats have lost all decency, are the same people who listen to this show and go, go get them, go get them, go get them, get those Democrats. It's because this is, once again, this is what I keep talking about. These Republicans now, they've realized that they're basically in this world. They want to create a two-class tiered system where they are Uber alles. And yeah, I meant that in German. Uber alles. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Speaking of Uber alles, hey, there's a story from last week that I missed about the Minneapolis police, which I got to bring up, man. What are you guys doing? 952-946-6205. Let's take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. On December 8th, I was driving home in my Toyota Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota. At a traffic light, a car slammed into me. without a doubt in my mind. If I hadn't been driving a Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. The car is designed to take a wallop and keep the people inside safe, as it did for me. It's one thing to hear someone talk about safety standards. It's another to become an example of the safety standards. The Toyota saved my life, and I will always own one. If you want real safety, visit Rudy Luther Toyota. Rudy Luther Toyota, the corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Winter is here, and there's a good chance your home isn't being heated efficiently. And it's likely because of air sealing and insulation problems. Inadequate attic insulation is the leading contributor to high energy bills, cold rooms, and ice dams. Great news, the energy-efficient pros at Snap Construction can fix it all. Stop the heat from leaking out and save. Call 612-333-SNAP or visit snapconstruction.com for your free infrared energy inspection. Install with Snap Construction and qualify for over $750 in rebates and incentives. State and city programs are now offering 0% financing for qualifying insulation upgrades. So call Snap Construction for your free insulation energy consultation and start saving on your energy bills. Call 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed insulation and exterior contractor in the metro area. Visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies today with a high near 36. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 15. And Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 31. Hazel's Northeast has some of the most creatively prepared comfort food you'll find for any meal of the day. Favorites include the Drunken Banana French Toast, Buttermilk Fried Chicken Sandwich, and Swedish Meatballs. Open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 8 to 8 with a Sunday brunch from 8 until 2. Located off 29th and Johnson. More at hazelsnetogo.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. Ooh, that's right. We've got tickets right now to go see Bill Maher over at Mystic Lake on May 21st. Bill Maher coming to town May 21st at Mystic Lake. If you would like to be there and enjoy the show, you can win a pair of tickets right now by being caller number 9. Caller number 9, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Caller number 9, you'll win yourself a pair of tickets to go see Bill Maher on May 21st. Good luck. Brett is standing by, ready to take your call. So this is interesting. When Fox News host Laura Ingraham went to Minneapolis last year to film a provocative segment in front of the former 3rd Precinct Police Station, which she called a monument to anarchy, another camera was rolling in the background. Reminder, this was this whole attempt to basically vilify our town. And to anyone out there that hates on Minneapolis, I just want to say that the hell with you. Minneapolis is a great town. Minneapolis-St. Paul is a great town. It's got problems, but you know what? Still is a lot better than most other places. Hands down, not even close. And I did not appreciate the constant bad-mouthing of my city by people out there who really didn't hate the city, but were just trying to win it on political points. And that's the whole thing there. And shame on all the officers that were involved in this. If you don't like it here, go. No one is forcing you to stay here. No one is forcing you to be here. You need to go. If you just want to sit here and hate on the city, then just get the hell out. We will not miss you. And frankly, you'll be happier, you uptight jackass. Ta-da! See? Go. You'll be happier. Anyway, so that whole dog and freaking pony show one happened. Capital Transparency is a YouTube channel that purports to hold government accountable, but when the anonymous YouTube citizen journalist tried to film Ingram interviewing 2 Minneapolis police officers on a sidewalk in front of the burned-out police station, private security guards and 2 police officers tried to stop him, with one threatening to arrest him or put up police tape to keep him away. Naturally, the whole incident was caught on camera and the video has gone viral. At one point, Minneapolis Sergeant Andrew Schroeder said he was going to put the police tape up to stop the man from filming the Ingram video. So once again, I want to make sure we understand right now what this officer is saying is he's going to abuse his position, create a police crime scene that's not a crime scene, just to stop this man from being able to film them. So that's the case. That's what was going to happen. Brett, we do have a winner here.
Mary from Minneapolis, our winner today.
Mary in Minneapolis. Here's the deal. Tomorrow I got tickets. That's the last day. Thursday is the last day. I've got tickets to go see Bill Maher. If you want to try to win, well, then you need to try it tomorrow. But you're always welcome to go see him. Mystic Lake's great, and go get tickets. If you want to go see Bill Maher, go get tickets. May 21st, Mystic Lake Casino. Bon appetit, all right? It'll be a good show. Now, back to this. So once again, I want to make sure we understand this. He was threatening to arrest him by putting police tape to keep him away. So they were going to create a fake police crime scene just to stop someone with a camera from filming them. Naturally, it doesn't get any better. Ingram was interviewing Lieutenant Jeff Waite and Schroeder, Sergeant Andrew Schroeder, near the former police station, which was destroyed in the riots after George Floyd's police murder on May 20th, 2020. May 2020, rather, I should say. But the Ingram noticed the man filming. She stopped the interview and walked away. Oh, it's always so. I always love these guys on Fox News who always love we're going to get the cameras in there. But all of a sudden you catch them and they're like, you're not supposed to film me. Laura Ingram right there. As the security guards and officers tried to make the man leave, he told them he was standing on a public sidewalk and they had no right to make him leave. Amen to you. You are on a public sidewalk. You do not have to leave. He noted the irony of a TV news crew trying to make a videographer get off of public property. So once again, Laura Ingram came in here. This is supposed to be an exclusive. She didn't care about Minneapolis. She just basically was there to bash on us. And the hell with that horrible human being. Why are you guys trying to gang up on me? The guy taking the video said, all you people should know about filming in public. The Fox News crew moved into an alley and tried to physically prevent the videographer from filming there too, saying it was city property. Two men who appeared to be security guards tried to stop the videographer from getting near the interview when saying he was being a blank. I'm going to guess a swear word. Later, Schroeder said the man could film from a distance, but wasn't allowed to enter a parked lot where they'd moved because they were doing police business. No, you're doing an interview. Film me all you want, but if you come in here, cross that line, I'm going to take you to jail, said Schroeder. Wow. For recording in public, the videographer said. Try me, said Schroeder. Ooh, can we? Can we? Okay, everybody, grab your phone and follow Schroeder around and film him from public and see if he arrests you because, yeah, that's what he wants to do. We all have cameras now. God. In the resulting Fox segment, Waite complained about how Floyd's police killing, onlookers offers descended on scenes, recording everything. You constantly have people questioning how we do things and telling us we're not doing things right, and it's just nonstop, Waite told Ingram. Let me explain something to you. Everything I'm hearing about this whole case, yeah, you're wrong. You are wrong. Ingram's interview raised questions about why the broadcaster with a history of inflammatory right-wing opinions and a sour view of Minneapolis was allowed to access to the officers, particularly when many local reporters were being rebuffed. As expected, she used the interview to paint a grim picture of the city and its leadership. At one point in the segment, the chyron on the bottom of the screen said, 2 years after Floyd's riots, radical leadership leaves Minneapolis in shambles. Oh, screw you, Laura Ingram, you hag. Ugh. By the way, a spokesman for Mayor Fry said that the mayor was not aware of the interview beforehand. Well, because this was the police. My guess it was the police union saying, yeah, we're going to bash on the city. Now, there are two different things here I want to really break down here a little bit. The reason why you guys don't like people filming you. I mean, for God's sakes, I've had to learn how to live with this damn thing, this camera in the studio. All right, this is my job. This is what I do. I've got a camera on me. You guys are all supposed to have cameras on you running. You're riding in a vehicle that's got a camera on you. But it tells you, what does it tell you that police officers that's supposed to be used to cameras, who are on visible from public property, still today don't like it when they're being filmed? It tells you a lot, doesn't it? And the fact that this guy was willing to abuse his office to arrest someone because, heaven forbid, the Queen, Laura Ingraham, is violated by you. Are you the mayor of Minneapolis or is it the mayor, the police of Minneapolis, or are you the police of Laura Ingraham? Because it sounds like your allegiance is to freaking Laura Ingraham and not that city that's on the side of your damn cars that you are vowing to protect and serve. This is unacceptable. This is once again unacceptable, and yet another example of how the system is broken still. You should not be threatening people out there. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be threatening people out there. Especially people, you would have thought you guys would have learned your lesson. But these two clowns, and can I just say, if you guys don't like being here, Lieutenant Jeff Waite and Sergeant Andrew Schroeder, then go. We don't want you here. You don't need to be here. No one's going to be like, oh God, no, not Waite and Schroeder, because they left. Oh God. There isn't going to be mass protest rallies about you coming back. No one cares. And you clearly hate it here. Go. Just go. And maybe they already have. I don't know. You can find some other town where you'll be happier. Whether that's in outstate Minnesota, go to a different state. Go find your happy place. Dude, you got one freaking trip around on this spinning rock. Why are you doing something in a place you clearly do not like? That's the craziest part. And this goes to everyone out there. You got one trip right around on this flying rock, okay? What are you doing something, a job you don't like, being around people that you don't like, living in a place that you don't like? Go find your happy place. I choose to live here. I choose to do this job. I choose to hang around with these people. Well, maybe not Brett, but I mean, I choose to be around these people. I like Brett. That's your choice. You don't like it here, go. You'll be happier. We don't care. No one cares. No one cares. But it does bring up this idea of, because once again, and I'm going to take a break here, but there is this argument that you hear from the police department. That is, why is it that we can't connect with the local community? Why is it we can't connect? And I'm going to just point out this entire incident is why you guys have no chance at all of fixing this until you have a complete and total remake over of how you guys do things. Because right now, this is the problem. You're not connecting with the people in Minneapolis because of crap like this. And you can fix it. It just is you don't seem to want wanting to. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Take a break. Come on back. Wrap up the show when we do return. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging, helping older Minnesotans and caregivers find answers and connect to services and supports. Questions about Medicare, transportation, looking to move to senior housing, overwhelmed with prescription drug plans? Call the Senior Linkage Line at 800-333-2433 or visit trellisconnects.org, where we help people optimize well-being as they age. That's trellisconnects.org.
It's an absolute must for any true foodie. Vinaigrette at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis offers premium oils and vinegars for the most discriminating of tastes. This is Sarah Piepenberg, owner of Vinaigrette. We bottle on-site, there's no guesswork, and you get to taste test each and every oil and vinegar we offer. Our direct relationship with the growers ensures an uncompromised level of satisfaction. When you need to know you're cooking with the finest ingredients, first contact the independently owned Vinaigrette, 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Online at vinaigrettemn.com.
Do you believe in ghosts? Ever wondered if aliens from other planets visit the Earth? Have you ever thought about whether Bigfoot is real? My name is Greg Bakken, and on my new show, Ghost Box Radio, we'll have these conversations about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, or just the unusual, bringing together guests who are experts in these fields. Join me every Sunday at 4 p.m. for Ghost Box Radio with Greg Bakken on AM 950, even if you're a skeptic.
Bill Maher. Every year, somebody, I don't know who, but they keep a registry of the names that parents are giving their newborns. They've been naming kids things like Pistol, Shooter, Magnum, Remington. This is sick. Liberals don't do this. Liberals don't name their kids Prius and Juicer.
Bill Maher in the Mystic Showroom May 21st. Get tickets now at the Mystic box office or online at mysticlake.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show, 952-946-6205. So let me just break down, first of all. I broke down the problem with this abuse of power. Once again, it is abuse of power. You threatening people to arrest them because they're filming you from a public property. You basically saying, I'm going to set up a false, crime scene to basically stop you from filming us. But I want to bring up the point here. You guys sit there and say, why is the city not more receptive to us? Because it's you. You guys should be talking to the media at every turn. You don't. Why? Because just like this instance, the Minneapolis police looks at the media that's not Laura Ingraham or not someone else who's willing to strap on knee pads and let them drive the narrative that the police union wants to push as the enemy. And so you instead, most other cities' police departments have fairly decent relationships with the local news media and have conversations. And the problem is that you guys want the news media just to put out your talking points. And after George Floyd, it became clear we can't trust your talking points. Just go back and look at the news, how they presented the narrative after George Floyd. Heck, look at the narrative after Pointergate, for God's sakes. You're the ones who have turned the media into the villain. You need to start talking to the media and being present and addressing concerns. And you know what? You got to do that because you screwed up a lot. So don't sit there and say, we're not going to do it. You have to. Openness begins with you being open. And you got to, the idea that someone's going to film you, come on. You know why? Because you can't be trusted to do the right thing most of the damn time. That's not on us. That's on you. So stop. And then finally, stop with this hating on Minneapolis. You cannot say, we want to sit here and make this city better while you're running over to Laura Ingraham screaming about how this is a hellhole and this is godforsaken and it's never going to be fixed. If you don't want to be here, get the hell out of town. We won't miss you. No one will miss you. Bye. And you can go find a happier place for yourself. But just stop with this, rage hating on Minneapolis, the city you're supposed to actually want to protect and serve. It's a shame. It's embarrassing that I have to tell you this to these guys. But this is where you're screwing up. And don't criticize anyone for having legitimate questions about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because you know what? You forfeited that ability. You just have. Vern is in White Bear Lake. You wanted to chime in today on Laura Ingraham. Welcome on in, Vern.
Hi, Phil. Matt.
Yeah, that's Phil. Phil's okay.
I happened to pick it up. I happened to pick it up on my phone last week, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it was in October with those two cops in that business on the street.
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out what the hell's going on here. And that new police chief, I don't know if he saw that yet, but it just shows that nothing's happening. I mean, one person has been charged with that stalling thing. One person. When there was a van full of them.
It was a van
So,
full of them,
you know,
and there was, and also let's not forget about the officers who were firing rounds on innocent civilians in the city because they feel it's they think it's a war zone, so they're treating it like a war.
Right.
No.
Right. And I've seen that cop. I've seen that cop before. He's been a spokesman for the PD before. The lieutenant or sergeant, I don't know which one it was, but the one that was threatening with arresting him.
Yeah. Vern, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the phone call. No, and by the way, I'm late on this story too. Dina Winter printed about this last week, and I over at Minnesota Reformer, and I didn't catch this until I saw it. And I just feel like, you don't have trust because you haven't earned it. The Minneapolis Police Department thinks that they should just be able to say, trust us, and we can. And that consistently, okay, you want us to trust you, but then when someone's on a public sidewalk filming in public, you're like, we're going to arrest you. I'm just going to create a police zone here, so you're going to go away. That's not trust. And I'm sorry that Laura Ingraham was upset about being on camera. Tells you how much editing they do to their shows over there. Without a doubt in my mind, tells you how much editing they do to their shows. But you cannot earn trust by just saying, trust us. You have to show we can trust you. That is getting out in the media. That's not putting out incredibly jaded press releases after an officer murders someone in the street. It's not out there basically. It's not out there basically trying to desperately, find the warrant that allows you to no knock and go in there and shoot somebody. It's showing that you have some regret and remorse for the actions that have been caused by the Minneapolis Police Department. And until that happens, you can't just say, trust us now, because no one should trust you. Not because we're jerks, but because of your track record of behavior. So, you want to start trusting everything? Call up every media outlet in town and say, we'll take 30 minutes to answer every one of your questions. When you start doing stuff like that, then maybe we can start building on some trust, but I don't think that's going to be happening. Native Roots Radio is in the 6. We're back tomorrow. Until then, see ya.
The Rick Smith Show.
Amazon Palm Pay. You can give Amazon your handprint and link it to your credit card